Hello everyone, I'm Anuja. I'm from Supergrads, and today we are meeting here to talk about this very special test called Written Ability Test. They ask this test from you so that they can check your ability of writing because it's very important to check how well you can collect all your thoughts and present to them in a readable manner. So today we'll be talking about the skills that you are required and that you are required to learn and what all things go into the making of a good essay and how to prepare for it. So let's get started with written ability test. Points to keep in mind. So this is the first thing that I'll start with, which is the what of the VAT. VAT is the written ability test, and what is the what of it? What are the important things here? So first thing is let's focus on the given. What is the topic given to you? Understand it very thoroughly. A lot of people make this mistake that they do not brainstorm enough. They do not think about it enough and they just start writing. Take the first 5 minutes, focus on the given, understand what you can write about it, and only then get right into it. Now, they'll give you a topic. The topic could be a very straightforward topic. For example, I have taken an example here: loan waivers, a temporary solution to a permanent problem. Or it could be seeking a suggestion: should we implement a new education policy, or any suggestion that they need from your side. And it could be asking your opinion: is it effective to implement XYZ? Okay, so that kind of topic you could get. It could be a prompt where they say, do you agree to this? Do you disagree to this? And then they're seeking your opinion. But actually, it's not the opinion that matters, it's the way you think. They want to see how you think, and you are required to demonstrate exactly that. Now, word limit is 200 to 300 words approximately. I'm saying it's approximate because it varies sometimes. So we'll see when we are around the exam date, but it's roughly 200 to 300 words. That means roughly 20 to 30 sentences. So that's the maths that you need to do, that you only need to write some 20 to 30 sentences effectively. That's all there is. And the time limit is some 20 to 30 minutes typically. That means you have to write one good sentence per minute, and I don't think that's too bad, right? If you do the maths again, you'll see that this is the optimum speed with which you need to type or write or to ideate, right? So here are the basic what's of your writing ability test. Now let's proceed to talk about the why. Why are they making you go through this? Why are they bothering us? What do they expect from us? They are asking for my solution, but will they implement my solution? Like I said, the solution itself is immaterial here, but what they want to think and what they want to see is our thought process. And we should have in mind to showcase how I think. I should be able to rationalize, I should be able to justify what I'm thinking, I should be able to give examples to make it clearer to them. So this is what I need to demonstrate, that this is how I think, this is how logical my approach is. So it means the first thing that we should start doing is obviously think. Start thinking on a daily basis and start writing at least on a weekly basis. Whenever you find some topic that kindles your curiosity, you have gathered enough data on it, you have done your research, sit with a piece of paper and pen and write down, jot down your points, make sentences, try to make short and crisp sentences. That's how you'll get an idea how you can improve, what are the common mistakes that you are making. You'll get an idea when you think and you put it down on a piece of paper. Okay, so that was about the why. Now the time is right to talk about the how of the VAT. How do I do it? I know what to do, I know why to do it, but how do I do it? So what can be done versus what cannot be done is the first dilemma that we'll handle. So just remember how were essays written when we were in school. I remember that I had last 15 minutes reserved for my essay, and I would just start writing. And my sole concern was to write as many words as possible. And there was no coherence, there was no structure, right? I think it's relatively relatable to you as well, right? Now, is everything that comes to my mind relevant then? It's a valid question to think, and it is not. And that is why it's extremely crucial crucial that you brainstorm in the first 5 minutes, you shortlist whatever you want to include, and then only you start writing. So if I come to you, let me give you an analogy, okay? If I come to you and ask you to quickly jump into my car without asking any questions and I just start driving, will you be comfortable with that? No, you would be very anxious. And that's exactly what will happen to the reader of your essay if you do not ideate and you just start, because you'll have no structure, no coherence, you'll just go on, and he wants to see some clarity. Okay, so don't do that to your reader. What should be done is just notice how RC passages are given to us, right? We do solve a lot of RC questions. We give a title to the passage. So just notice how an accomplished writer writes. You read newspaper articles. So you just from today onwards, you just start seeing how they make their sentences, what kind of structure do they follow. Of course, I will give you some suggestions of my own what you can do, but this is something that you should do to begin with. Okay, so the suggestion from my side talks about the IBC rule. What is I? It's introduction. What is B? It's body. What is C? It's conclusion. You can alternatively also call it the 1-3-1 rule, because one paragraph dedicated for introduction, three paragraphs reserved for establishing the body of your essay, and one paragraph again for conclusion. That's the perfect streamlined essay for you. Now, how to make the intro, how to make the body, how to make the conclusion? These are some valid questions. So, when you are giving your introduction, be very clear to introduce the topic generally to your reader. You need not get into specifics, but you can give a general idea what is to expect, what will you be discussing. If you have a great hook, by that I mean some great quote or something great that can just catch somebody's fancy, then you can probably start with that. When it comes to body, you can do an in-depth analysis, you can go for pros and cons, you can go for cause and effect, you can start with the history, you can proceed towards future, you can give your opinion. If need be, you can tell the fallout of your opinion. But whatever you keep, just make sure that you bring one new idea per paragraph, because that is why you have been given three paragraphs. And when it comes to conclusion, try to summarize everything from your reader, everything that you have discussed so far. Try to take some stand in your conclusion. Don't remain very diplomatic, otherwise, the examiner who's trying to understand your personality, your thought process, will get to know nothing about you. Right? So please make sure that you summarize everything, you take a stand. Don't be too radical, don't be an extremist. Try to keep a reasonable stand, and that should qualify for a good conclusion. Okay, so I think with this, you know enough about just to write a perfect RC. Now, just to give you the edge, I will tell you how can you evaluate your essay. You'll write a lot of mock essays and you would want to know how to check them. So here are certain points that I want you to note down or make a mental note so that you know how to evaluate. So evaluate on the basis of content, the points that you are providing, the examples, the data. It should be, of course, correct. It should make sense. Your thought process. Remember, we wanted to show the examiner how we think. So could we justify why our points were important? Of course, good grammar is non-negotiable. We don't need to tell you this. Articulation is very important. Spellings, no, not at all. I mean, that's a deal breaker if you make spelling mistakes there. Structure, right? It has to look coherent. You have to neatly organize it into paragraph. You can't let your reader do all the job for you, right? And it should have logic. It should neatly weave into a fabric. I really like this analogy. If it all fits together, it makes a beautiful fabric. Okay, so I think, remember to, let me sum it up for you like a good essay. Remember to carefully read the topic. Don't miss out on keywords. Remember the IBC rule. Maintain a flow in your essay. Make paragraphs, right? Make paragraphs. And keep the end in mind. We are reaching somewhere. It's not an endless quest. Keep the end in mind. Know the end that you are meaning to achieve. Okay? So, just a final check that you should do. Are all the points I wanted to convey clear? These are the questions that you're supposed to ask yourself to check if your essay has achieved its destiny. So, are all the points I wanted to convey clear? Did I use examples to make my point more clear? Did I use real world data? Because some topics are such where you would need real world data. Does the premise, argument, conclusion check hold? You know, you learn in your critical reasoning sections that you give a premise, then you build your conclusion on it. So, have I done that? Does my essay have a central theme? Like I said, you should not be too diplomatic. It should have some central theme. Is it engaging? Like I talked about the hook. Does my conclusion provide closure to the reader? Does my reader feel that he has read something that he has understood? Is that chapter closed for him? Have you summed it up neatly? Is every single sentence crucial to the essay? Because if it's not, then it should not be a part of your essay, right? And did I vary my sentence structures? Because if you keep using the same sentence structure, it can get very monotonous and it will really put yourself in a bad light. So vary your sentence structures. Don't use cliches. Nobody wants to hear about survival of the fittest and be the change you want to see anymore, because we have had too much of that. So steer clear of cliches. Your transitions should be gentle on the reader. Gentle, that means that he should not feel that you have ended it abruptly. Okay, and just don't bore the reader. I think that that goes without saying, right? So I think this is the final check that you should do on your essay, because if this is done, then it's a good essay. And of course, nothing great can be achieved without practicing. So I hope that after attending today's session, you have gathered enough data to create a great essay and then evaluate it, and then just work on that evaluation, whatever tips you get, to create an even better essay next time. Okay, I wish you all the very best with this. Keep reading, keep improving.